Welcome everyone. Today we have the mid-game savings and transition guide. This will be a two-part series. This is the first part. What we'll be looking at is the transitional timings, and we'll be touching on the units that we can collect as a 3-cost and the units we collect as a purple 4-cost unit, which will change our build and give us insights. Let's have a look. For the mid-game, this is when gold is saved up at multiples of 10. Why is that? Because each 10 gold that's not spent earns 1 gold of interest every round, up to 50 gold. So with 50 gold, you earn 5 gold of interest additional on top of all the other gold earning. Builds are decided here, and some players and preparation for 2 stars and 3 stars units has started. So I'll touch on those very shortly. I'll explain the units we can go to 2 star and 3 stars. So let's look at round 11 to 16. For the round 1 to 10, there's a separate guide which was posted a week before this. Definitely check it out in the description. Round 11 to 16, the transitional mindset. With some lucky rolls before round 10, we might have settled into a build. This can be assassins, knights, trolls, etc. So this is when we keep the core units and try to save up to 50 gold. But there are times when we haven't decided our main build here. This is when we can collect pairs of 3-cost units and maybe even a purple unit that comes our way. We can use those as indicators for a certain build. Of course, as mentioned in the previous guide, checking for a niche market, a build that no one is playing. Say no one is playing mages, you can go into mages knowing you have higher rates because of that. Similarly for knights and other class and race. Let's look at the 3-cost units. Those are the blue rarity of units. We're looking at collecting a 3-cost unit to 2 star. A Shadow in 2 star before round 17 can take us into mages, warlocks, or it can be a standalone AoE damage dealer for any composition. So very nice unit. Followed by Terrorblade. Terrorblade 2 star can take us into demons if we already have anti-mage from the earlier rounds. Terrorblade fits in most lineups that has a good frontline. For example, goblins and knights are one of the cases. I'll keep a pair of Terrorblade around round 16 to 17, but there's a catch to it. Unlike Shadowfing, Terrorblade is a melee DPS, melee damage dealer. Terrorblade can fall off quite rapidly after round 21 because it is a great early game unit, but as a melee unit, it has a hard time surviving at 2 star after round 21 or 26. So in my personal experience, if we do not get a 3-star Terrorblade by round 26 or higher, he does fall off quite massively. So we either get him to 3 star or we can sell him for exchange of a legendary in the late game. Razor 1 star works wonderfully with a 2-star Tiny or Morphling because of the elemental stoning powers. This is before round 20. Razor 2 star before round 16 or 17 can take us to mages or can be used as an elemental tank because surprisingly, a 2-star Razor have 1.5k of HP, which is higher than most of the melee units which are 1 star or 2 star. Venomancer is a very nice unit. A 2-star Venomancer is a nightmare for your enemies or if you faced it before round 25. Venomancer works very well with Beast because you only have to have 2 Beasts, maybe 4 Beasts if you can make it, and Venomancer works very well in a Warlock comp because you can have the Undead with Beast. Beast amplifies your damage, Undead amplifies their damage taken. The Venomancer works 100% magically immune. That means they can be the difference maker when you face a mage. If you get a few Venomancer works done, they can even kill a few mage or win the round for you. A Lycan 2-star works well before round 25. It can be great for warriors and beast, or there's another catch to it, you can run 3 warriors with beast human mages. What that means is you can run a 3-star Laundred, 2-star Lycan, followed by 3 humans. This way you don't need Lina, you still have 4 humans and Lycan become a great silencer. So the catch here is not the warriors part, the catch here is the summoning part because he gets more mana with Crystal Maiden and also the human silence. Very nice. But if you want to go further later in game, Lycan can be replaced by Conquer, or you can have Conquer and Lycan for additional human silence. A highlight of Phantom Assassin is one of those great units for 6 assassins with elves. Over here the elves are made with 3 elves with a Train Protector, Phantom Assassin, and Templar Assassin. Personally speaking, I feel 3 assassins do fall off quite rapidly unless you get the Phantom Assassin to 3-star after round 26, so she can be a bait/trap if you go in with 3 assassins. This is the highlight for 3 elves, but on the case of 6 elves, we have 3 assassins which are Queen of Pain, Phantom Assassin, and Templar Assassin. In this case, the highlight is to find your 3-star druids. If you find your 3-star druids fast enough, you can look for other 3-star units that doesn't necessarily have to be Phantom Assassin. So for those cases, all we want to see is what are the other players playing and what are my units that I can counter them. For example, Luna is actually a really good counter at 3-star for mages because she's tanky enough to survive with damage item. Her bounces really punish the squishy mages. Similarly, you can consider going to elf with dragons, elf with assassins, or elf with beast. Now let's look at some of the purple units that can define a build in the early to mid game. Lone Druid is usually an instant buy even if it breaks the multiple saving of 10. So that means it's costing us 5 gold here. Because Lone Druid have a great chance of finding a 2-star Lone Druid because it only needs 2 Lone Druid to be fused into 2-star Lone Druid because of the Druid synergy. Now notice that we can also use IOs for Druids, but IO picks randomly when it has multiple targets to fuse. So in order to not risk a 50-50 of IO going to a 2-star Enchantress, what we can do is make sure we have a 2-star Druid on the board, then have 1-star Lone Druid, then have the IO down. So this way the IO have only one choice, that's to go with the Lone Druid. Picking up a Conquer and a Doom can give us the opening for 3 warriors. Conquer and Dooms are very nice warriors. Conquer excels in AoE control, while Doom is a great single target lockdown and a great tank and DPS as a warrior. Medusa can be a great pickup for the hunters for sure, and also Medusa is also opening up for the Nagas first, because if we see other players going for mages, which are Crystal Maiden, Razors, and Shadowfang, those are the indicators, then picking up Medusa means that you have it prepared. Once they become in power after round 17, you have a Medusa, you can pick up a starter for the cheap kind of Nagas, or you can pick up a Tide later on for the stronger controlling and Naga factor. The highlight here is Medusa also counters hunters by picking her, because she is a clutch unit for the hunters. A hunter with a Medusa would destroy almost any build if they have enough control, but if they do not find Medusa, they just seem so much weaker. So if you pick the Medusa, Hunter's gonna have trouble finding her as well. Necrophos is an undead warlock. Necrophos is usually the second undead, or one of the 3 warlocks can be used. Necrophos can be used to replace a 1-star Abaddon or a 2-star Draw Ranger if we don't plan to play hunters. Usually I pick up Necrophos because it's a good unit overall. It is a good replacement for a lot of the 1-cost 2-star units, for example, a 2-star X, maybe a 2-star Tinker. Keeper of the Light is a niche pickup because it is great with 1-star or 2-star Crystal Maiden, Razor or Shadowfang. It is one of the best mid-game mage unit because Keeper only fits in mages. So what that means is it's easy to find him usually compared to other units because most people do not pick him. But the downside is, if you're not playing mages, it's hard to make him work. Keeper of the Light do need at least 1 or 2-star Crystal Maiden because he does not regenerate mana fast enough. If you find a Troll Warlord in the early game, then I'll probably let's go for Trolls, because we can go into Warriors and Trolls, because Troll Warlord is a warrior. We can also go with Knights and Trolls if there's too many warriors and no one playing Knights. Dragon Knight is very interesting. It's at the same position for the Phantom Assassin for me, because if you're going Knights plus Dragons, the 3 Knights or 6 Knights with Dragons is quite nice. But for the other builds, he can be a bait. Usually, unless I see 2 Dragon Knights before round 10, around 15, I will not purchase the Pack of Viper because they are quite costly in terms of 2 cost and 3 cost. Now if I do not see my 2-star Dragon Knight and I started rolling at around 17 or 18, or if I started rolling at 21, I will sell the Dragon Knight, because if my build is not for dragons and knights, I don't really want to keep a very heavy costing 2 dragon knights on the bench. A 1-star dragon knight in a knight lineup is not very strong, but a 1-star dragon knight with a 1-star dragon knight with dragons can be the activation factor for the pack or the viper, which tends to do more damage than a 1-star dragon knight. So a 1-star dragon knight is quite useless, and he usually dies or transforms right before he dies, but a 2-star dragon knight is very strong. So those above highlights concepts works throughout the round 11 to 12. The key here is to keep the options open, and we can use the pairs or the 2 stars or the purple units as the indicator of a lineup we can go into. Again, the highlight is try to remember that if you put squishies with squishies, say if you put hunters and mages, or if you go with Terrorblade, it really works because all of those units need a solid tank. While in the meantime, Lone Druid can fit in almost any comp. Let's look at some special rounds. Round 13 and 17 are the uncurved leveling up rounds. Usually a win streak leader might go to level 7 at round 13 and sometimes even level 8 at 17. When we are stuck between the win streak leader and 1 or 2 of those open fort or like losing streak players, we know we'll be in trouble soon. The key first indicator is to check the current gold of each player around round 13. This is when we can see, okay, 2 of those elf players are coming from me from behind, and 2 of those win streak leaders are going to come from top with the knights or the trolls. So you have to adjust on round 17 to protect our HP from the pressures from both top and bottom end of the leaderboard. Starting at round 15, with reverse positioning for the wolves, but on top of that, there's a few things we should think about. Here are 2 of our options. Option 1. We can level up to level 7 at round 17, which is uncurved leveling. We don't waste any gold here by leveling uncurved. We can then follow up by rolling for the 2-star core units by spending down to 30 or 20 gold. I'll keep saving up if we have HP lead, or if we have HP lead with Dazzle as well. Keep in mind, the saving up is because we have the HP lead, but if you want to protect your HP, you can still be rolling for your 2 stars. Option 2, we can level up at round 16 to level 7. Then we can level up uncurved to level 8 at round 17. We can then roll at level 8, which opens up legendary units at higher purple rate. This particular option does favor the builds that can use those top rows. For example, goblins can take Techies, gods mages can take Zeus, hunters with Tide, elementals with Enigma. Notice that assassins and elves don't usually need to be level 8 until they get to round 21 or higher because they do not need a legendary. Here, the 2-step leveling up strategy on option 2 favors the win streak leader because he has high economy to do so, and this helps him protect the win streak. It also helps a losing streak or comeback player that has HP that's much lower, simply because he needs to protect HP, he needs to stop losing. And the best way to do so is rolling on top units at level 8. Round 18 to 19, this tends to be a difference maker for a lot of players. The highlight here is to not be greedy. Most players might be leveling to 7 at round 17, then they have a feeling that the saving is too low, they want to save up, and then they stop spending. This generally leads to massive HP loss to other players, and this can lead the HP being below 50% coming into round 21, which is one of the biggest factors why players tend to end up bottom 4. So the highlight here is we need to know to roll for your 2-star core units. Those can be a 2-star Medusa, 2-star Troll Warlord, 2-star Conquer. Spending down to 30 or 20 gold when our HP is above 50%, and we can also spend down to 20 or 10 gold when HP is below 40%. We need to remember that the stronger our lineup is, the less chance of us losing, more chance of us winning the next few rounds. And also on top of that, the other players who loses to us will likely to lose more HP. This minimum of our loss and maximizing their loss is the key factor or the underrated factor that pushes us to the top 5 position compared to most other players. Due to the length of things I want to touch on the mid-game, this will be a 2-part mid-game guide. The second part of the mid-game will be focused on positioning, win streak, losing streak, and other mid-game strategies, which will be addressed on the second part. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of our mid-game guide. If you have any recommendations or any questions, let me know, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel for more future guides. Please also follow and subscribe on Twitch to support me on Twitch as well. Thank you so much, guys, for your support so far. I'll see you guys on YouTube next time. Take care, my friends.